Now, there's a lot of fear around weightlifting. If you have been diagnosed with a pelvic organ prolapse or think you have one, I want to tell you that you shouldn't be scared. You shouldn't have fear around having a prolapse. There are a lot of holistic options for you. And in this video today, I'm going to answer a common question I get as a pelvic floor physical therapist around pelvic organ prolapse. And what are some weightlifting exercises and techniques that you can use to keep your prolapse symptoms from getting worse? My name is Dr. Dawn Andalone. I am a pelvic floor physical therapist, a specialist in women's health and fitness and Pilates, and using weight training to build muscle and really help your whole body get stronger, help boost your metabolism, and help your joints. There's so many benefits to weightlifting, and you shouldn't have to stop weightlifting if you've been diagnosed with a prolapse or think you have one, but you want to do it in a safe manner. And so I'm going to talk through how to actually use your muscles appropriately. And I do have other videos on this channel all about prolapse and what things can prevent it from getting worse and what exercises can also help it. But today, in the nature of this video, is going to be more geared toward weightlifting. So having a prolapse, it could be your bladder, your uterus, your rectum. You may have that extra pressure against the vaginal wall, and a lot of women complain they feel some pressure or heaviness or uncomfortable, aching feeling around the lower abdominal region, even the lower back to the sacral area, and may at times be fearful about feeling a bulge or even seeing a bulge in the vaginal area. Now, if you are using your muscles appropriately, it can protect that prolapse. So if you haven't already seen a pelvic floor therapist, that can be very beneficial. But I think that it's good to know some of the strategies if you are working out and you have questions about whether or not you're making it worse. So how to know, are you actually using your muscles the right way? Well, you can do some basic pelvic floor relaxation and contraction type of movements. And you can start with sitting in a chair like I am right now, and I'm going to talk you through what to do. So a good way to find out where your pelvic floor muscles are is feeling that tension if you were to close the vaginal opening, and almost like you're going to cut off the stream of urine. And you're not going to test this in the bathroom, by the way, but sitting on a chair, you're kind of testing that you're able to feel that little bit of tension in the vaginal area. You can also roll a washcloth or a towel and just put that right in the area right between your legs and your saddle region, and you'll feel that tension as you try to contract those muscles. And then you let it go. Now, when you let it go, you don't want to bear down and push out. You want to just think of, imagine a flower opening, or if you take a nice deep breath, you will feel those muscles just kind of release and relax. With having a prolapse, a lot of women just hold a lot of tension there, and they tend to not realize that they're contracting more often and trying to tense and tighten those muscles, or use their inner thighs a lot, or squeeze their butt muscles a lot. So being mindful and just being aware of where your muscles are and what you're actually activating is a good place to start. So you want to just kind of test those muscles, see if you even know how to access them and contract and relax them, and practice that for about 10 times. So starting there, that's just starting with some pelvic floor work. Now from there, you want to take a big inhale, and as you inhale, you'll feel those muscles kind of let go. So you're syncing it with your breathing, and then as you exhale and you breathe out through your mouth, you're going to draw those muscles in and up. So think of closing that area in the vaginal opening and thinking of lifting up like you're pulling a blueberry up from the vaginal opening. And now you're inhaling, you're letting it go, and then you're exhaling and pulling in and up. So practice that about 10 times as well. Now I'm going to show you with some basic weight training exercises how you're going to incorporate that into it. It does take a little practice, and it does take a little brain work. You don't get frustrated if you don't get it. It really takes a good 2 weeks for you to use new strategies and get your brain to connect to your muscle system. That's called your neuromuscular system. And it takes a good 2 weeks for your brain to really catch on. So therefore, your muscles activate and do the things they're supposed to do when you're teaching it something new. So you don't want to start by lifting anything too heavy. I have a 15-pound weight here. Go 10, 15 pounds as you're just training this. Really start with body weight, and then you can gradually increase the weight. If you are used to doing back squats or a lot of heavy barbell lifting, I would start first with dumbbells or kettlebells because you can control this area of your core better than when you're distributing that weight out in a bar. It makes this area work a lot harder, and it can be more difficult to actually control those muscles through your pelvic floor and your core the right way. So we're gonna start with what we call a goblet squat. I have the weight in front of me, and a goblet squat is gonna make you use your core and your pelvic floor a little more efficiently, rather than putting that weight overhead or on your shoulders or down by your side. Start here. So you can use a kettlebell or a dumbbell. I'm gonna inhale as I lower, and then I exhale and think of zipping up those muscles like I taught you in the chair as you exhale and lift. Inhale as you lower. Your muscles might still stay a little bit contracted, that's okay, but as long as you use your breath. And then exhale through your mouth as you lift, and you're giving that area a little more support. So I'll show you from the side. You really want to get your butt back. You don't want to squat here. You want to pretend like you're sitting back in the chair. So you're lengthening those glutes as you squat. Inhale as you lower, and then exhale as you lift. The exhale and engaging your pelvic floor and your lower belly muscles at the same time is the protection to help those core muscles support the prolapse. Now, second exercise for the lower body. I show you two good ones that you can really use larger muscle groups and also help support your pelvis and the external muscles around your pelvis and your core. So the next one is a deadlift. So I'm going to turn the weight like this. I'm holding it down in front of me, and a deadlift is different from a squat. You're going to think of still sitting back in a chair, but think of sticking your butt back and keeping your back flat, and then coming back up. I just have a tiny bend in my knee, and then I'm going to exhale and pull those muscles in and up and squeeze my glutes on the way up. So I inhale as I tilt forward, creasing at my hip. I'm just folding at my hip, and then exhale as I come up. Inhale down, exhale up. And you can repeat that about 10 to 15 times. A proper deadlift, you do not roll and bend your back. You stick your tailbone back and you crease and flex from the hip. A squat, you're doing the same thing, but you're bending your knees. Just a little different there. So the big lesson is you want to exhale as you do the work, as you come up, and engage the muscles at the same time. That is going to protect the pelvic area, protect the prolapse, and make you work more efficiently. Now, when it comes to upper body, I have some 8-pound weights. You can go anywhere from 3 pounds up to 10 pounds. And we're gonna do some bicep curls. I'm gonna talk you through a couple upper body exercises and how to engage those muscles as you move the weights. So you are gonna start down here, keep a little bend in the knees, and enough where you just keep a tiny little pull in from the navel. So you're protecting that area and tightening the core just a little bit, not 100% tightening, but just enough that you could carry on a conversation or count or breathe. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my exhale as I lift the weight, pulling in those muscles again from the pelvic floor and the abdominals as I curl the weights, doing a bicep curl. I also have my shoulders pulled back, but I'm not flaring my ribs out. I'm gonna just keep those core muscles engaged enough that I keep a good position through my trunk muscles at the same time. Now there's all different variations on how you can stand when you do bicep curls, but using the principle of using your breathing and engaging these muscles as you curl up. That is the goal. You can also do a tricep press. So I'm in a little bit of a lunge position. You can lean against a wall or a box, and I have my elbow bent. I'm gonna stay in this lunge position, and I'm gonna exhale as I kick the weight back. So I'm really isolating the back side of my arm. Same thing, I just keep a little drawing in and exhale every time I move the weight into that full range of motion. So I'm using, as I'm creating more pressure through my body to push a weight, you want to use the exhale. That is going to protect this whole area too, and using your core and your pelvic floor and the exhale at the same time. That is the key message in this whole video, is using your breathing and using your muscles appropriately when you are lifting. So I hope you found that helpful. If you are looking for more help with pelvic floor exercises and core exercises, and you want to get in better shape, I do have pelvic floor Pilates program. I talk about all this stuff and how to really work on your flexibility and your strength through your whole body through 15 minutes a day of Pilates-based exercises. I love weightlifting, but I want it to work for you. When you have a prolapse, you just need to learn the right strategies so you help your body rather than create a worsening issue. So I hope you found that helpful, and thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in another video.